Silence. A black screen. Then the faint clicking of a phone's keyboard, each keystroke echoing like the ticking of a countdown. Inside an empty stadium in Lisbon, Jimmy Donaldson, better known as MrBeast, stood alone at the center of the pitch. He wore a black hoodie, his phone still in his hand, his eyes locked on a single message thread. The arena was quiet, haunting in its stillness, as if even the air was waiting. Earlier that week, Jimmy had typed 6 words and hit send. "I have a challenge for you." He hadn't expected a reply. But now, in this moment, the message on his screen burned into his brain. "Let's do it. Cristiano Ronaldo." Jimmy smiled without saying a word. This wasn't a collab. It wasn't a stunt. It was something bigger. It was a showdown. The scene flashed to a whirlwind of preparation. Drones zipped across the Lisbon skyline. A production crew unloaded truckloads of gear, lights, sound, broadcast equipment, into the stadium. Seats were being numbered. Jerseys ironed. A 10-foot LED scoreboard flickered to life with a pulsing blue glow. MrBeast vs. Ronaldo. Jimmy moved through it all like a general before battle. His crew, energized but tense, followed his every command. "I want 3 cameras on the tunnel. 2 overhead drones. And someone please find a goat emoji that looks like Ronaldo." Every frame of the event had to be perfect. Because this time, the internet wouldn't be watching a prank. They'd be witnessing history. Across the world, in a quiet gym in Saudi Arabia, Cristiano Ronaldo glanced down at his phone. No scripts. No meetings. No brand deals. Just a time, a location, and a sentence. "Meet me in Lisbon. Bring your game face." He chuckled. And nodded. "Let's make this fun." The day arrived. The sun baked down over the stadium as thousands began flooding into the seats. Fans of all ages, some wearing Real Madrid jerseys, others in blue MrBeast merch, waved flags and held up signs. In the locker room, Jimmy stood with his custom-made squad. A speedrunner from Ohio. A trickshot TikToker. A college goalkeeper. The whistle echoed like a gunshot through the Lisbon night. The lights of the stadium ignited in a sweeping wave, turning night into simulated day. From the sky, drones hummed in synchronized motion, casting blinking dots of red and blue that danced across the turf. 1,000 camera lenses turned inward. The world was watching. Jimmy didn't blink. He stood on the center circle, shoulders squared, the envelope with the challenge rules already in Ronaldo's hands. The moment had come. Ronaldo slit the envelope open with the precision of a man who'd signed contracts worth more than countries. He unfolded the page and scanned it. His brow lifted, slightly. Challenge number 1, crossbar roulette. Each player would have 5 shots to hit the crossbar from 30 yards out. But there was a twist: after each miss, a new penalty would be applied. 1 foot tied. A blindfold. A spinning wheel of distraction. A bucket of ice dumped into your jersey. The kind of chaos Jimmy was known for. Cristiano's smirk barely moved. "You call this football?" he said. Jimmy laughed. "I call it entertainment." The crowd roared in anticipation as the referee motioned them to begin. Jimmy was up first. He jogged backward, lined up, and took a deep breath. "Let's go viral," he whispered. His first shot was pure chaos, a wild toe punt that veered right and clipped a camera drone mid-flight, sending sparks flying. The audience gasped. Jimmy raised his hands like a magician revealing his trick. "That counts for style, right?" Ronaldo watched in silence, amused, unreadable. Then it was his turn. He walked up like he was about to take a penalty in a Champions League final. Calm, methodical, lethal. The ball arced cleanly and kissed the underside of the crossbar with a clang that echoed across the stadium like a church bell. 1-0. Jimmy groaned. I thought this wasn't about talent. Maybe it's just about pressure, Ronaldo replied, walking back with the swagger of a man who had made pressure his profession. As Jimmy lined up again, a referee ran over and handed him a spinning headset. Penalty applied, visual disorientation. The crowd erupted into laughter. He strapped it on, staggered like he was walking through a funhouse, and took the shot. Wide left. A shower of confetti exploded from the stands labeled "Fail," with neon lights. Ronaldo grinned, then raised a hand and blew a kiss to the crowd. Second round. Ronaldo again. This time, he kicked with his left foot, his weak foot, but still managed to graze the bar. Not a full hit, but close enough to count under Jimmy's own ridiculous rules. Jimmy protested, jokingly, I didn't realize we were allowing miracles. Check the rules. You made them, Ronaldo replied. Round after round, Jimmy suffered through silly distractions and physical chaos. A leaf blower in the face. A squeaky duck tied to his ankle. Ronaldo, meanwhile, handled the penalties like they were mild inconveniences, smiling as he adjusted to every new twist. But Jimmy was relentless. On his final attempt, blindfolded, spun around 5 times, and holding a rubber chicken in one hand, he made contact. The ball soared. It arced perfectly. And slammed the crossbar. The stadium lost its mind. Chandler ran across the field, screaming. The sound tech dropped his mic. Even Ronaldo clapped, twice. Jimmy ripped off the blindfold, panting, eyes wide. Did I just do that? You did, Ronaldo said, tossing him a bottle of water. Now it's my turn. Last shot. Penalty, balance beam. Ronaldo had to take the kick while standing on a narrow beam, barely wide enough for his cleats. The crowd leaned forward as he steadied himself, the stadium quiet as a chapel. He launched the ball. A powerful strike. The trajectory was high. But it missed. Wide by a hair. Jimmy collapsed to his knees in fake celebration. Yes. I beat Ronaldo at football. Kind of. Ronaldo walked over, offered his hand, and pulled Jimmy to his feet. One challenge. One win. But there's more, right? Jimmy nodded. Oh yeah. This was the warm-up. From the tunnel came a rumble, then a forklift carrying a giant obstacle course shaped like a football pitch crossed with a game show. Neon colors. Swinging hammers. Water hazards. Zip lines. The scoreboard updated with a metallic sound effect. Round 2, total chaos. Ronaldo looked at the monstrosity, then back at Jimmy. You're insane. Jimmy grinned. And you said yes. The announcer's voice boomed. Up next, speed, agility, and absurdity collide, in the ultimate arena. The players jogged off the field, high-fiving the crowd. The stadium lights dimmed as the next course was built. Cameras zipped above their heads, capturing every detail. Jimmy leaned toward Ronaldo and whispered, "You still sure about this?" Ronaldo replied without hesitation. "Let's go." The world wasn't ready. But the internet would never forget what came next. The lights didn't come back on immediately. Instead, the stadium pulsed with red. Then blue. Then a spiraling mix of both. Fog machines hissed along the sidelines. The announcer's voice returned, not booming this time, but slow and theatrical. If you thought Crossbar Roulette was wild, you haven't seen anything yet. The massive jumbotron flickered to life. Animations of exploding soccer balls and spinning stars danced across the screen. Then, one word burst forth like a firework. Total chaos. From the mouth of the stadium tunnel, hydraulic platforms rose, each carrying part of the obstacle course: twisted scaffolding, cargo nets, slime cannons, giant foam footballs swinging from metal beams. In the center, a rotating circular platform spun with blades padded in neon orange, ready to knock down the overconfident. Ronaldo blinked. This looks like a Nickelodeon fever dream. Jimmy cracked his knuckles. No mercy in chaos. Hooked cables snapped loose as construction teams finished the final setup. The arena now resembled a futuristic Warzone crossed with a cartoon battlefield. Fans screamed as sparks flew and drones zoomed by overhead, broadcasting the unfolding madness to tens of millions watching live. Each team has 3 players, announced the voiceover. They must make it through 5 zones. Fastest combined time wins. Any penalty adds seconds. And yes, this time, it's personal. Jimmy huddled with his squad: Chandler, the trickshot TikToker named Mace, and an Olympic trampoline hopeful named Zara. Ronaldo had his own team: a CrossFit champion, a Serbian goalkeeper with arms like tree trunks, and a sprinter who once outran a police dog on live TV. They shook hands. Brief, respectful. Then Jimmy looked at Ronaldo and whispered, "You ready to get slime in your hair?" Ronaldo smirked. "I don't lose to trampolines." The buzzer sounded. Chandler went first for Team Beast. His mission: survive the gauntlet, a corridor of swinging hammers, slippery floors, and one very angry inflatable referee. He sprinted forward, barely dodged the first hammer, but lost his footing on a pool of soapy foam. The crowd gasped as he slid under the second obstacle, scrambled to his feet, and got smacked in the face by a sponge glove shaped like Lionel Messi's hand. 37 seconds. Not bad. But not great. Ronaldo's CrossFit teammate, Leandro, moved like a panther. He didn't run, he prowled. With each step, he anticipated the swings, timing his moves with the precision of a military drill. The final platform tilted, he adjusted mid-air and landed flawlessly. 22 seconds. And he flexed. Jimmy whispered to Chandler, "Start stretching. You're going again if we lose." Next up, slime time. Zara faced off against Ronaldo's sprinter. The zone included monkey bars over a pit of bright green goo, bouncing pads that launched players sideways, and a wind tunnel that fired plastic balls at 80 km/h. Zara was a gymnast. She flipped, ducked, and clung to the bars like she'd been born in a jungle gym. Her descent into the slime pit, though, was less graceful. A bad grip on the final ring sent her into a neon green splash heard across the arena. 10 seconds penalty, shouted the referee. The sprinter's run was clean, until he got greedy. Trying to skip bars, he mistimed his landing and got blasted by the wind cannon straight into the padded wall. The audience erupted in laughter. Another 10-second penalty. Now came the captains. Jimmy and Ronaldo. Face to face. Their challenge, the revolver. A circular rotating disc with narrow paths, foam battering rams, and vertical bars rising and falling unpredictably. Jimmy went first. He stepped onto the platform, arms out for balance. Each step sent the disc rocking. A foam bar swung toward him, he ducked, jumped to the next tile, and landed wrong. For a moment, it looked like he might fall. But he didn't. Instead, he grabbed a rope, swung like Tarzan, and landed on the final panel with arms wide open. "Hollywood, baby," he screamed. The crowd went berserk. 45 seconds. Not record-breaking. But heroic. Then came Ronaldo. Silence fell like a curtain. He walked onto the platform like it was Old Trafford. Balanced. Calm. Each movement was rehearsed, instinctive. When a bar swung, he leaned. When a tile shook, he crouched. Then, near the end, something unexpected happened. A drone carrying a foam football miscalculated its route and hovered too low. Ronaldo didn't flinch. He jumped, bicycle kicked the ball mid-air, landed, and crossed the finish in 28 seconds flat. The Jumbotron replayed the kick in slow motion from 6 angles. Jimmy stood at the sideline, mouth open. "Are you kidding me?" Ronaldo jogged up, panting. "Reflex. Sorry about the drone." The announcer returned. With one challenge remaining, Team Ronaldo leads by 8 seconds. But there's one final test, and it's double points. Both teams turned toward the tunnel. From the darkness emerged the final trial, the Wall of Regret. A 40-foot climbing wall, slick with mist, wired with buzzing platforms, and coated in jelly. Each team had to work together to climb, hit the buzzer at the top, and descend without falling. Jimmy looked at his team. "We've trained for exactly none of this." Chandler added, "I get nosebleeds above the 3rd floor." "Zara, let's just pretend we're winning." Ronaldo's team moved first. They stacked, lifted, climbed. Like a well-oiled machine, they moved up, until the goalkeeper slipped and triggered a shock pad. Buzz. 10 seconds penalty. Jimmy's crew scrambled like an underdog in a movie montage. Chandler sacrificed his dignity and lay flat to act as a human ladder. Mace slipped halfway, lost his shoe, grabbed Zara's foot, and somehow held on. Together, they rang the bell. And slid down in a cascade of laughter, limbs, and slime. Both teams lined up, covered in bruises, foam, and pride. The scoreboard ticked, calculated, and froze. A tie. Exactly. The arena went quiet. Even the announcer paused. Jimmy and Ronaldo turned to each other. "Rematch?" Jimmy asked. Ronaldo nodded. "Your rules. My ball." And the crowd exploded. The world had witnessed a battle not of football, but of fire, fun, and friendship. And they were far from done. The crowd had barely stopped cheering when Jimmy raised a single finger. One more. One final round. The scoreboard flickered, the lights dimmed slightly, and then it came. Thousands of LED panels along the stadium perimeter shifted colors, revealing the words. "The final test, Hunt for Heart." No music. No pyrotechnics. Just silence and the buzzing curiosity of 80,000 people holding their breath. Ronaldo tilted his head. "This isn't an obstacle." Jimmy turned toward him slowly. "No. This one's different." All cameras followed Jimmy as he climbed onto a platform midfield. The wind ruffled his jacket, his hands gripped the microphone tighter than before. "I've built challenges. I've built mazes, chaos, slime pits, moving platforms. But today, one of you is going to win based not on skill, but on soul." A quiet murmur spread through the stadium. "Hidden all around this arena," he continued, "are 50 boxes. Inside each is a single object. Some are trash. Some are treasure. One of them holds a letter." He turned to Ronaldo. "A letter addressed to someone you've forgotten." The audience froze. This isn't just a scavenger hunt. This is about who you are when no one's watching. Who you're willing to become to finish the story. Ronaldo didn't smile. Jimmy didn't either. Then came the horns. Loud, ancient, cinematic. Doors flung open. Spotlights swept across the arena. Dozens of colored crates appeared, hanging from scaffolding, tucked beneath seats, floating by drone, buried beneath fake turf. It was a maze of memory and adrenaline. Both teams received new gear, small headsets for communication, an infrared lens tablet, and a wristband tracking their box count. The rules? Simple, you can only open one box at a time. You must return it to base before going for the next. And the team that finds the letter first, wins. "What's in the letter?" asked Ronaldo. Jimmy didn't answer. The buzzer sounded. And chaos returned. Chandler sprinted toward the south bleachers. Mace climbed onto a drone-decked scaffolding. Zara flipped over a barricade like she was born for espionage. On the other side, Ronaldo's crew moved like soldiers, coordinated, silent, fierce. Ronaldo himself moved slower. More measured. Not physically, but emotionally. He wasn't looking for speed. He was scanning for something that made sense. A gut feeling. He passed a box hanging from a goalpost. Ignored it. Another near a fan tunnel. Left it. Meanwhile, Chandler returned to base with a plastic clown nose. "Why are we collecting trash?" Jimmy held it up. "Because in every joke, there's truth." Time passed. Dozens of boxes returned. Inside, a toy train. A broken photo frame. An old, dusty football. A cracked trophy. Nothing, and yet, everything. Each item was tagged, time-stamped, and placed on a table behind the teams. A story began to form in fragments. Ronaldo stopped moving. His headset buzzed. "Found anything?" Leandro asked. "No," Ronaldo said, staring at a stuffed bear half buried under a bench. The bear wore a miniature Portugal jersey. Something twitched in his face. He picked it up, turned it over, and tucked inside was a key. He didn't tell anyone. Instead, he walked back slowly and used the key to unlock one of the boxes mounted high near the VIP entrance. Inside, a letter. A real, handwritten letter in a crumpled envelope. Yellowed edges. Portuguese handwriting. He took it out. The seal was already broken. He unfolded it, and read. And everything stopped. The music, the buzzers, the shouts from the crowd, all of it faded. His eyes didn't move for 30 seconds. Then he walked back down to the field and handed it to Jimmy. Jimmy didn't read it. He held it in the air. "This letter," he said, "was written by a little boy who used to sleep with cleats on because he believed he could fly." He looked at Ronaldo. "Do you remember that boy?" Ronaldo nodded once. The crowd didn't understand, yet. But the tone had shifted. This wasn't a show anymore. It was a window. Years ago, he wrote this to himself. Buried it. Left it. Forgot it, Jimmy said. But that kid never left him. A hush swept the stands. Jimmy turned toward the camera. And that's the point of this game. Not who can kick harder. Or climb faster. Or even score the most points. It's about who remembers why they started. He held up the letter. And Ronaldo never forgot. The stadium erupted, not in chaos, but in reverent, rising applause. Ronaldo stepped forward, eyes slightly glassy. He shook Jimmy's hand. "You tricked me," he said. Jimmy smiled. "Only a little. You made me feel something. That's the best kind of win." As the credits rolled across the Jumbotron, a new scoreboard appeared. Victory, Ronaldo. Highlight, humanity. Confetti didn't fall. Instead, the stadium roof opened, and the Lisbon stars looked down. Somewhere, a little boy with big dreams was smiling. And so was the world.
If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories that move the world. Thanks for watching.